I'm sorry, Andrew Weissman, but if I recall correctly, in 2018, you were one of the people who helped write the Mueller report, and you all botched the hell out of that.
And never in my wildest dreams would I have thought we would be here. I thought we were better as a country.
Oh, yeah.
Like all these sites that have been around for creating videos and all that, like text stock videos, they're done.
But that's why Canva was one of the first to get into doing AI.
What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations. 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers and male caregivers that is sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And our team has reached out directly and indirectly since 2020 to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers. And as always, I like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, solution for someone's problem. Yeah, people saying this ain't if you're watching live, they're saying this ain't a Saturday. No, it isn't. Sorry to tell you, it ain't a Saturday. It's actually a Wednesday. Now, look, there's so much going on in American politics. After this past Sunday, I reached out to Aisha and LaLa. Say, look, ladies, we got to do something before this Saturday show because there's just too much going on. And plus, we're not going to be seeing LaLa this Saturday because she's celebrating her wedding anniversary. So we need one little more taste of LaLa before she deserts us for her man on the weekend, for her man. And she's laughing like crazy in the background, but that's a good thing. So for those who don't know, this is Primetime Saturday with Aisha and LaLa. We are on Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern time, but this is a special edition because there's a lot of special stuff going on in America. And not only that, Aisha wasn't on last Saturday. She's here today. In fact, she made sure she was on today. So without further ado, Aisha K. Staggers, Laura LaLa Key, welcome to the Pleasure Dome. What is going on?
Or the Terror Dome.
Terror Dome. Well, no, so I'm going to use it. If you are Waiate, it's the Pleasure Dome. If you're not Waiate, it's the Terror Dome. And
if you're a Public Enemy fan, it's welcome to the Terror Dome.
Yeah. So and LaLa knows where I got the Waiatai from. So I'm gonna have to send that out to the ladies. Hey, do I have permission to use that term? Can I take it from your dictionary? But ladies, what's going on? How you doing?
Oh my goodness, have we been through some stuff in just a few days? I feel like we've lived the whole month of August in one day, and we're not even in August yet.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that we can stream on X today. I'm surprised because remember last time we tried, we couldn't.
Okay, what? I didn't know that. Okay, just give me a second. I'm gonna see if we can.
I just tried it. I just said, what the hell?
I'm gonna see if I can.
Yes, I can't. No,
I did.
Yeah, you.
Oh no!
Now that's interesting. You two can not LaLa. No, it's saying
I can.
Okay, that's no. Because when I no, it says no. It says a premium account on. It's giving me have to be a premium account. Well, if you can, rock.
That's wonderful.
Premium account, but look, it might be because I tweeted the link to our YouTube, and maybe they decided they don't want people to.
Yeah.
So you're not another feature of our conversation. You get hacks here. You get hacks. You get digital hacks. So good, Aisha. Good to have you back. Hope your health is good.
Yeah.
And LaLa, I say now, happy anniversary. Happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary. Now, if you know where I got that rendition of the song from, you've been around a while.
Yes.
Yeah, it's from an old cartoon series.
Yes, and I have them all. Believe it or not, I still have those because they're considered banned now.
No.
And I got them years ago, and I have them on DVD.
Get out of here.
Wow. I do.
Okay, so here's man, and you know what's wild? There are people here.
Yay!
Like, I mean, of course, number one is here. Jen Myers says, "Hey everyone, love the extra show. We love you back." And we didn't know if you're going to be here, but that's why you're number one, Jen. You're number one. But okay, so pop quiz before we get into anything crazy today, and she says, "Happy anniversary, LaLa."
Thank you.
How many people still have DVDs?
I do.
Okay, give me one or two things that are really special that you have on DVD.
Jackson 5 cartoon series.
Whoa!
I actually have all the banned cartoons from Looney Tunes.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Oh, and Schoolhouse Rock.
Oh, yes. I got Schoolhouse Rock. All of them.
I bow to you ladies again. The only thing I feel really of notoriety is I have the first 2 seasons of 24.
Oh, good. That's a good show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also have Good Times and What's Happening.
Yep.
Oh, jeez. Again, we have to do one. We have to do either a school or well, I don't know if we're going to get a room this year, but maybe on the lighter side sometime this year, do another music show and do a cartoon show.
And I have several versions of The Wiz.
Yep.
Like I have the 1978 film. I have the stage play that was done on TV in like 2017, 2016, and the stage play with Stephanie Mills.
Okay.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Love Stephanie Mills. Oh, great singer. Great singer. Jen Myers says, "Love you all. You're the best." Right back at you. Jen Myers also says she has Schoolhouse Rock. Do you have that, Jen, or are you just putting that up? Schoolhouse.
I love it.
That is wild. Does anyone have the Electric Company on DVD?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Now, I also have one. I don't know. I'm going to throw this name out to you to see if you know what it is. I have Coonskin.
Who?
Coonskin.
What that?
It's a Ralph Bakshi. You know the guy who did all those animations and stuff? He did like Cool World.
Yes.
And Philip Michael Thomas, Barry White, all those classic people are in that. And he had to change the name.
LaLa, Aisha's.
From what year is that?
I think it's like 76.
Oh wow.
Wow.
And it is hardcore, guys. It is really hardcore. But Ralph Bakshi had a way of really, really getting into the Jewish culture, the Black culture. He made fun, but still made it like real stuff. So like he did Felix the Cat, but because of it was called Coonskin, later on it became not PC. So he changed it to Street Fighter.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, which one is it that I got and I have it on VHS because I started VHS tape.
Wow.
I have like a romper room from way back when, but there are
a what?
A romper room.
I know, but I just wanted to hear that a few times. Yes.
But there's oh God, what is the other one that I had that I just what was that cartoon that you know what? This is what I was going to say. I can't remember the cartoon, but if you have Roku, you can watch it Showtime at the Apollo.
Oh, wow.
All the old ones. Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'm hearing that echoing again. Oh, it's gone now. Okay. Jen Meyer says, "I have it." You have what? Schoolhouse Rock? Yes. And she goes, "I cannot say the preamble. I have to sing it." There we go. All right. Well,
if more people watch Schoolhouse Rock, more people would know how a bill becomes a law and stop talking all ignorant on social media. Like the president can
okay,
hold off. Let me just get our info stuff and let's go right to it. All right. Watch Primetime Live with Aisha and LaLa at Patreon. There's the link. Primetime Saturday Show Store. There's a link you'll get in your comment section. Join the Discord group. Things have heated up again on the Discord group. I wonder why. And then subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit notification button. We have hit 1,500 subscribers. We're now going for 1,600. And I may be a nice guy. I may in the next few weeks give out a prize. Thinking about that. And then to advertise your business product or service on the show, please feel free to email me at dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. Also, you can watch replays of this and other great things that I host, but this too on IndieSuitMedia.tv, which is powered by our good friend Dr. Tachi. 5 months on YouTube, 15,000 subscribers.
Wow.
Nice.
And also, if you are watching this before the 27th of July at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Dr. Tachi, the power behind Indie Suit Media TV, will be joining Aisha on Primetime Saturday, this Saturday. All right, all that's done.
Yep.
Joe Biden quits and Kamala Harris is running. What's next? Ladies, where were you when Mr. Biden made his announcement, and what was your immediate reaction?
I'll let Aisha start.
I was sitting watching Beverly Hills 90210 reruns because I was refusing to watch any media because I've just been the last couple of weeks. And then I was also strolling through my Twitter account and I saw somebody posted the letter that he wrote saying that. I was like, wait, this can't be real. So then I started fact checking on my own and I was like, yeah, it's real. I was like, I think it must have been like 25 minutes after the letter came out, and I was just like stunned at first. I mean, I was literally stunned, and I had a whole lot of feelings like frustration and anger because I'm glad where we are right now with the momentum we have right now. But I have to say that I was angry and frustrated because it didn't have to happen that way. The way that the party itself should be very much ashamed about how they went and forced this man out. Not only that, but it's one thing when him being torn down from outside the party, but the tearing down from within the party in the media was shameful. And I was just kind of disgusted, but I knew what that meant because it meant that there was going to be someone else, but I was also fearful that they would try and skip over Kamala Harris. And I'm very thankful and very grateful to the 44,000 Black women that came together for that call to raise the money for her, because basically that there's strength in numbers. And that basically said, no, you're not going to step over this woman.
And so Aisha texted me, and we had just started watching House of Dragons because I want to watch House of Dragons. I love House of Dragons. And I was angry. And so you should see our personal chat thread because I was angry. The first thing I thought of was this was disgusting. I thought it was very angry. This is before he endorsed Kamala, but I was very angry about how they did this. And I'm very vocal about that. I've said that even before this happened. I was very upset about the Democratic Party showing so much division and having it out in public the way that they did. I thought that was disgusting. And I thought that was also disrespectful to us as the voters. And I was like, don't start acting just like these MAGA folk and these GOP, because that's what you're doing. You're showing division. How is that going to help us if you're showing division? And I was angry. I literally told Aisha, we lost.
She said, it literally says, we just handed the presidency to Trump.
Sure did. And I really believe that. And I literally cried over it. And I was like, I cannot believe we're going here. And, at the time I wasn't thinking about, who was going to step up. It wasn't that. It was the way that I feel like we disrespected Biden in the way that we did, like so many people did. This man is in his 80s, but he's also a career politician. And he does have speech issues sometimes, but have you heard Trump? Ain't nobody talking about him making up stuff out of the blueberry land of unicorns. And so I just feel like they shouldn't have did the way that he did. And so I was so angry. So it took me a little while for Aisha to calm me down because I was really upset. And so then I just watched the House of Dragons for the rest of the day and then picked up the fight for the next day. After we found out that he endorsed Kamala, I felt a whole lot better. But then, even then, I was afraid because I was like, she can't win. I thought for sure she's just not going to be able to win. There's too many people that are not going to accept her. But then the more and more I saw the support rally around her, that's when I was like, oh, LaLa, you're wrong. You're wrong on this one.
Yeah, and I think that was the thing for me because I got to see it firsthand. Because like LaLa said, she went to watch House of Dragons. I was like, okay, I got to sit here and watch this, see how this is unfolding. And within 20 minutes, 30 minutes of giving his letter, he issues this endorsement. And basically, his endorsement was basically like, if you don't follow this, you're going to lose everything. And the way that the way that Democrats fell in line, I have not seen Democrats fall in line like this since Obama won the first time after Hillary bowed out. And even then it was hard because remember the struggle with women, specifically white women, to fall behind him because they were just so mad about how contentious that got. This wasn't contentious at all. And I like the fact that I'm seeing different groups rally behind her and showing that that each voting bloc within the Democratic Party has strength. The Black women got together, the brothers got together, then the South Asian women got together, white women have gotten together. The LGBT call is going to happen tomorrow. You've got the Latinos had their meeting. The Native Americans are about to do theirs. You've got people of all backgrounds coming together and saying, guess what? It's okay for us to identify with our group, but as our group, we can organize for the larger purpose because our organization is going to help everybody else. I'm just waiting for white men to have their meeting because they're the only ones I haven't seen. But here's the other thing that really tells you, this is what told me that she's pretty much got this, or at least has a chance to really even the score, was when Haley's PAC, that Haley organization, when they threw their weight behind her and their money. Let me tell you something.
Can you imagine?
Oh my
her
God, Nikki Haley is so right now. She sent them a cease and desist letter.
What?
Her attorney sent them a cease and desist.
I missed that part.
Saying, "Oh, you can't use my name and likeness." Guess what? They don't need to use your likeness because guess what? They're voting for Kamala, so they are using Kamala's likeness, and that's fine. But she doesn't look. Her name doesn't have a trademark, so they can say Haley voters.
Yes.
For Kamala Harris, and that's exactly what they're saying. And she's oh my God, Nikki Haley is having a nervous breakdown because the fact that she thought she was going to be the first woman, first Indian VP, that didn't happen. So she's got a very visceral hatred for Kamala. And then that kick in the gut, oh my gosh, it was so beautiful. It was just beautiful. They actually, after the cease and desist letter came, they put out a statement today and they said, you know what? We don't regret our choice in supporting Nikki Haley. However, and we wish her well. She's voting for and supporting the Republican. However, we think Kamala Harris is better for the country.
Yes.
And and guess what? And even if they're doing it out of spite, I still love it because a lot of them after that's the one thing I did pay attention to is what people were saying last week in the lead up to this on social media about the RNC. And Nikki Haley voters, when she spoke that first day, they were up there talking about she lied to us. She lied to us. And they were angry. They were very angry. But I think that Joe Biden made this decision probably about a week ago. But I think that he's a smart and savvy politician. So you all want to talk about Joe Biden being old and not, and off his game. No, Joe Biden's right on his game because guess what he needed? He needed to wait for the RNC to be over. Yeah. 1. And 2, he needed for Donald Trump to announce his VP candidate. Yeah. Because the thing of it is that he did not need to give them an opportunity to find someone else to run, like a Tim Scott or Byron Donalds, which they would have tried, right. or Nikki Haley.
Right.
They would have tried if they knew that Kamala was going to be the nominee on the Democratic side. It was very skillful. It was
and now they're losing it. They are losing
because
it.
remember, Joe Biden made this decision and he came out with this decision the day after the RNC ended.
Yeah.
Okay. I got to dig into you ladies a little bit in this. How much of Mr. Biden's decision is money based? Because it does seem that if he would have ran the race, a lot of money would not have gone his way. And we know how.
Matter now. But guess what? It doesn't matter now.
I'm saying now it doesn't matter, but I'm saying we had heard reports about a lot of money being withheld from his campaign because a lot of people with money said, you know what? We don't think he should be running. So, and I respect his judgment, but there seems to be a money factor in this. But
I don't think the money factor was for his campaign. I think it was the down ballot races, specifically the congressional races, because they were hearing from their large donors that they weren't going to get the cash and capital that they needed to win. And I think the money pressure on the congressional members forced them to pressure Joe Biden. That's where I think the money game was, because bottom line, whether or not the big donors withheld their money, Joe Biden still had $100 million cash on hand, period.
LaLa, again, how was the first 24 hours for both of you?
Oh, very volatile for me. I literally was extremely emotional. I'm already emotional over so many other things, but the thought of Trump getting in and the thought of Project 2025 coupled with that just made me sick to my stomach, because like I told Aisha, I thought we had just handed everything over to them. Like, I was so angry at the Democratic Party. I was like, and then one of my posts for that day, as soon as we found out, I said, y'all gonna get what you deserve for doing this. And I meant that when I said that. I think that they've gotten it together, and yes, it was their plan. They did all that behind it, but I have to say money always talks too. I do think that there is a factor. Me personally, I think there is some type of factor in the fact that people were holding back their money. Although there's a whole lot of stuff behind that we don't know. And Aisha knows it more than I do. Yeah. But I was upset either way, because for the one, I was feeling really bad about how was being tossed around in the media, even though the media wasn't reporting everything, because there were many days he was out there speaking just perfectly fine and strong, but they were not touching on that. And then he gets sick with COVID. Now people are saying he's lying about this. Well, you know what? Shut up, because Trump lies about everything. So I don't even want to hear that. It's COVID. And COVID is still real. So I don't even want to hear that. So the first 24 hours was very emotional for me. I cried. I was upset because I was like, my country. I don't understand what's going on with my country.
Yeah. I think the first 24 hours for me was, it was a roller coaster of emotion, because I woke up before this even happened thinking to myself, how awful is it that RNC was off the rails for a whole week, and it ends. The last speech was like Friday night, Saturday morning, and the first thing people are back to talking about is Joe Biden's debate performance. I'm like, wait a second. The focus shifted. You had a whole week and a half of the focus shifting, actually 7 days, focus shifting to the assassination attempt, to the RNC, and then you Democrats went right back to talking about this? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Donald Trump fell asleep at his own son's speech. His wannabe daughter-in-law is scratching between her legs in camera.
Did you see that?
JD Vance, they're holding up mass deportation now signs. They were saying that to JD Vance's wife, their own vice presidential candidate's wife, who has brown kids, one of them named Vivek. I'm thinking, wait a second. How did you all shift from that back to Joe Biden's age? I don't get it.
Because that's all they've got. And now they can't even lean on that.
Up alone.
Yeah, they can't even lean on that now. They couldn't even let it go. They couldn't let that go.
No. And then the media loved it because guess what? This person's running to this person and talking. And this person's it was like high school. It was like high school. Missy Elliott has that song Gossip Folks. That's what the Democratic Party was for a whole 3 weeks. But then after, I think for me, the part was after they had come down from, after watching that part of the media in the morning, and then the breaking news about Joe Biden announcing that he was stepping down, I think, I started looking at what Black women were saying on social media, particularly on X, and the warning came out. Don't you dare step over her. I have seen, I've heard, and I've talked to more Black women who said they are not sure they are going to be Democrats, registered Democrats after this, because of how they did Joe, because of how they did the 14 million people who voted, and especially if they were going to step over Kamala Harris. And every Black woman I could see of influence or whatever, you can try this if you want to. Try this if you want to. Mm-hmm. But just remember who does the knocking on doors.
Yep.
The phone calls. Remember who shows up. And they had to constantly remind them, like, there were 98% of us that voted for Joe Biden last time. And it was 56% of white women voted for Donald Trump. They had to keep being reminded. And I think that people like Jim Clyburn in the back, Hakeem Jeffries, kind of sat these people down and said, if you skip over her, just know.
You gonna come with the wrath.
It's gonna be because Right, because all these people running to the media, the first person they were talking about, every person they listed, they said was a white man. Every last person.
Wow.
And so it's like, but now they're all behind Kamala. And I also want to give a special FU to George Clooney, because a lot of what happened in those last few days was because of him. He's a billionaire. I need him to go sit down and STFU, okay? Because you have one vote just like the rest of us. That's it.
Yeah.
How dare you try to disenfranchise 15 million people? And now
I think that's disgusting. I really do. I really, really do. I don't think that there's any room or any place for that. You have no more power than what we do with our votes. And it was pretty disgusting how they treated him. You have to also remember that this man has done a lot of things in his career. Do I agree with all of them? No, he does have some things that I'm really pretty pissed off about. But you still got to give him the respect that he has been doing this a long time. And he knows his moves. He's a smart man. He may not always verbally be able to say the things that he wants to say, but look at what he has done. Right. He has reversed a lot of the things that Trump left him with. And what gets me so angry, and this is what people get confused about, is he did this and he did that. And I'm like, no, baby, that was on the last president. The stuff that the last president did gets implemented now.
Right.
You understand that? Then they stutter. No. I mean, I literally had a Canadian,
baby.
Yeah, I had a Canadian person try to tell me about my government politics. And I was like, you don't have any room.
Ouch. I can't.
Not you, Dr. Vibe. No, she said it like she lived here. You always say, the more y'all do, I don't understand. You get it. But the way she was coming to me was the same viral nastiness as the GOP. You don't have a right to do that. You don't have a vote here. You think you know everything about us. I hated Obama. I hated Clinton. I hated. Well, then why are you talking to me?
No, but why did you hate them? And then when you ask them that question, they can't even tell you. That's like this morning. The most irresponsible piece of so-called journalism I saw this morning was on MSNBC. When Elise Jordan, who is a Republican operative, let's be very clear, she might not be doing it now, but she did it for her entire career, worked in George Bush's administration. She she interviewed what were so-called, quote unquote, undecided swing voters. These were white women who are former Trump voters. Let's cut the bull. Okay, and then why are you going to ask them about Kamala Harris and expect them to give you a different answer? And then at the same token, these women talking about, well, I don't know a whole lot about her, but then they started talking about stuff that they said they quote unquote knew about her. Which is it? You either don't know about her or you do know about her. But the part that for me that's even scarier is that for you to say that you know nothing about her, for the last 3.5 years, she has been one seat removed from the presidency. And y'all worry about that man being old, and you didn't know anything about the person that could possibly become president if something were to happen to him. Really?
Right. Really? And then, but it's not only that. Like Aisha and I have been talking about this back and forth all week. The has already started within our own communities.
Yeah.
Oh, well, she ain't really black. She's something else and something else. So she ain't really black. And
in a country that has a 1-drop rule.
Thank you. You can't have it both ways. And then, of course, that's going to open up Trump to be like, I need to see your birth certificate again. Please.
Well, he already tried to start that. But again, that tells you that he doesn't deserve to be president either, because he doesn't know how our government works or how the Constitution works or what the Constitution says about citizenship. If you are born in this country, you are a naturalized, legally born citizen. You are a citizen of this country. Because guess what, Donald Trump? Your mother's an immigrant too. Are you eligible to run?
Thank you. Very clear. You can get down with it on that.
Oh, and also, now that he's not a child anymore, Barron's mother's also as a matter of fact, all your kids, except for Tiffany, have immigrant mothers.
Yep. And she's the black sheep of the family.
Exactly. And that's probably why.
She is the black sheep of the family.
You and your daggone anchor babies.
Thank you.
Exactly. Are any of you surprised that so far Ms. Harris has no opposition?
To what? No, I'm not. You know why? Because here's the part that you have to realize. She has had opposition, and I'm not going to say she hasn't. She actually has had opposition, and the opposition were a small minority of white men on the Democratic side, mostly former Bernie bros, talking about, oh, well, we need a white man, or we need this person, and all the people that they were suggesting were white men. Well, guess who that? It didn't just black women. It women, period.
Yeah,
because women were like, wait a second, we have a female vice president, and you're talking about pushing her aside? Are you
like she was nothing? Because like that was nothing.
Black women, South Asian American heritage women or not, women know what it's like to be pushed aside in a job that they're more than qualified for a man to come and take the job ahead of them and then be the ones to have to train them.
Right, exactly.
Because that's the other thing that she would have to do in that role.
So do you feel there will be an alignment between white women and black women when it comes to Kamala Harris?
I think they're already forming. I think
we're already seeing it.
That call that they had, and this is the there's one that's coming up, I think today or tomorrow, and then there was another one, unofficial one yesterday. So they're already mobilizing behind. The other thing that's very interesting is that voter registration in the last few days increased by 700%. They said more than when the Swifties registered to vote after Taylor Swift told them to. This beyond the stan culture, they're already lined up. Beyonce gave her permission to use her song Freedom. So the Beehive, they already consider themselves the K-Hive. They already have.
Yep.
They have since 2019. I think people that have supported Kamala Harris, like in 2019, she was the candidate I was behind, period.
Yeah.
You guys remember that. That was the candidate I was behind. So I had no problem falling in line. And I think there are a lot of people too, but you got to remember, a lot of people see in Kamala Harris themselves. They see their story. They see somebody who overcame adversity. They see someone who they know is going to be attacked on every angle and every angle. The attacks are going to come from within, and they're going to come from without. And they see this. And the thing is that America loves an underdog. And right now, she's the underdog. She didn't grow up wealthy. She went to an HBCU. She's a member of the Divine Nine. She has a mixed heritage. Like the majority, and remember, let's not forget the majority of people under 21 and under are of color, whether one race or more.
Right.
Okay. So she looks like their grandchildren. She looks like their children. She not only that, but she's had to work her way up.
Yeah.
Work her way up and work hard. You have two people on the other side who do not look like America. They look like the smallest fraction of America that wants to retain power. On top of all of that, neither one of them is really prepared to do the job. That's why they keep saying that Kamala's not prepared to do the job. Why? Because Donald Trump wasn't prepared when he had the job. He still isn't prepared to do the job because he spent more time on the golf course than he spent doing the job. Okay,
and he's on the golf course today.
Again. Yeah. And not only that, the two of them combined are, well, I won't say what I said privately in our text, but they are the driest ticket I have seen since Gore and Lieberman.
Yes.
But I said it in more vulgar terms about how good they are.
So y'all can only imagine what we say behind the
scenes. So no surprise that no one has put up any opposition.
No.
Well, you know what? The only
she has had some, but not loud enough.
Trying to do that broker convention. The only person who really is like, we still need a broker convention is Marianne Williamson, because she believes she's got a snowball chance of being the first astrologer to become president. I need her to stop. I need her to take several seats. And
that's her own personal agenda.
And the only other thing I think that's bothering quite a few people, particularly Black people, is that the Obamas have been quiet.
Yeah. And guess what? I'm kind of tired of them keep calling Michelle. Michelle has told y'all many, many times that she don't want to be a politician. Leave
her alone and let her be her natural Black self. But I think the other thing, I think there's a strategy here in the Obamas. I thought about it and I was like, why doesn't he endorse? Why doesn't he get behind her? Then I had to think about it. Remember that he is the first Black president. He knows what's coming after her.
Yes.
And I think that if at this point he endorsed her, she would not only get her stuff, but she would get his.
Yes.
And remember, the reason we have MAGA, the reason we got the Tea Party, the reason we got these people who are so crazy on the right is because they are still so in their gut and in their feelings angry that there was a Black man that was president. And
for two terms. And I don't think that he wants to do the pile on. Yeah, and because it's already a pile on. Right. I shared with Aisha within 24 hours after I had gotten over my own butt hurt. I put on my page, I'm with her, and it's a picture of Kamala. And many people were supportive. They jumped on immediately. But within our own group, Black men said some of the nastiest things. And I was furious because the people who posted on my page are in my acquaintance page, but you never have said anything on any of my posts, nothing at all, but you want to come and disrespect this woman. And I was furious. Block and delete. And it ain't even no bless and block. I usually say bless and block. No, it was block and delete.
Okay.
I have no time for that.
I want to jump in.
We're going to have to talk about that as a community because we have a job to do. We have to not only dismantle the disinformation and misinformation outside, but we also have to do it within our community, starting with she had thousands of Black men jailed for marijuana offenses. Guess what? That's been long debunked. And guess what? That is a talking point from the right. And the sad part about it is that the men who are spreading this don't realize, they think they're all Black power this, or she's not really. Guess what? You all are tools for white supremacy. You really are. And the fact that there were 1,900, not thousands, 1,956 marijuana cases that came across her. You know how many of those people served time? 45.
Yeah.
And most of them served time because there were other charges, more serious charges on top of the marijuana offense, like murder.
Yeah.
Perhaps. And guess what? Of those 45, we don't even know the races of them. They weren't all black. The assumption is they were black because, well, racism is what put that out there. So it's like, why not say that they're black men? But guess what? She spent more time in her career making sure that black men didn't go to jail because she had a back on track program that white people dubbed back on crack. So she tried to save your behinds. And guess what? There's gonna be a segment of black women that will not forget those men either.
But see, Mel, this is one of the things for me, and I'm just gonna jump in here. I don't care who you vote for, but the thing that's disappointing me is it's the right to vote who you want to vote for, but this back and forth with black men and black women's getting worse, and especially, and the thing is, I
don't think it's getting worse. I think it's getting amplified, Dr. Vibe, because it's been bad. And I'm going to tell you how I know it's been bad, because it's been in my DMs. Every time I say anything, there's always some black man that will come and call me a bed wench for the Democrat, whatever. It's not getting worse. It's more amplified because of who is at the center of it now, but it's been there.
So do you understand why so many black men are not pro Kamala Harris?
They're most of the time. It's not just her. It's us in general. The people who have problem with Kamala have problem with us. Period.
Yeah, and the problem. Here's the other part too, and it's not all black men, but the segment of black men that have this issue. When I start to hear other things that they say, I realize that their whole thing is that they want to be like white men. They say that they don't, but the truth of the matter is when you listen to what they say, that's exactly who they want to be like. There's a book that I implore everyone to read. I forget when it came out. I think it was like the late 90s, early 2000s, but it's called All the Blacks Are Men, All the Women Are White. And it's about black women's experiences in this space, particularly in the space of trying to have a voice. And I can tell you this: there are, I think, there are black men who are 10 toes down with Kamala.
Yeah. Period. Well, they showed us that on their call. I mean, they smashed it.
Yes, they did. And there are also black men who are 10 toes down with protecting black women. Dr. Vibe, you're one of them. However, there is a certain segment of black men who have no regard or respect for black women, period, because they have no respect for women. They don't respect their mothers. They don't respect their sisters. They don't respect their wives, their girlfriends, their daughters. But you know who some of them will respect if you give them the chance or you look at it? They will respect white women. And you know why that is? Because white women might be women, but they have this edge on them as white people. They have a superiority over them as white people. I have been in workspaces before with those kinds of black men, and they will no sooner sell you. I have seen more protection in some of those spaces from white men, a lot of whom I didn't trust, before I see it from black men who have a point to prove. And so while I understand that there are many, I'd say the majority who are decent, good, and kind and view and see that we have value, there is a pocket that does not. And as far as I'm concerned, they can kiss my behind.
Well, I get it. I'm not going to say double, but I do get a lot of information, a backlash from men, period. As you know, I broadcast all the time. I'm always broadcasting, whether it's mine or somebody else. And the thing that I get the most, and especially in these last couple of weeks, is, well, what are you? Well, human. How about that? Or they'll say things like disrespectful. Well, she half white. She don't know our struggles anyway. Or, I get that from, I've been getting that since I was a little girl. And I think that's also disrespectful. I have no control over who my parents were. But when you have your own community fighting against you, it's disheartening. And the fact that these men can't get behind us and support us says a lot. It says a lot about their own selves, not us.
Yeah. And those are the kind of men, I'm going to tell you straight up. Don't ask me for support when the po-po comes knocking at your door. Sorry.
Okay, so you're going nicely into an area I wanted to chat about here. So one of the things that Project 2025 proclaims is complete police immunity. Mm-hmm. Kamala Harris was a prosecutor, and some people have said, well, she basically police as it is. So she basically she put a lot, like as you said earlier, some bloggers, she put thousands of black men away in prison. How is she?
But she actually didn't. It was 45, and we're not even sure they're black. But I get what you're saying, Dr. Vibe, but here's the other thing. They're like, oh, I'm sorry, district attorneys are not police officers, period. They're not. Lawyers are not police officers. If they were, any lawyer could stop you in a car and arrest you, but they cannot. They have rules you have to come by. But let's be very clear. The police officers are already out there attacking her. They're already out there attacking her, saying that she wants to end immunity. Hello, you can't have it both ways, where she either she is a cop or she's against cops. You can't have it both ways.
All right.
But that's what they want. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't have it both ways. Either get information or step aside. I'm tired.
And also,
I'm tired of this battle.
And I'm going to say this. A lot of the ones that are out here talking nonsense, guess what they don't do? Vote. So anything you say to me is irrelevant.
Question for you both. If Ms. Harris was married to a black man, do you think she would have still got the nomination?
Yeah. Barack Obama. Yeah. Barack Obama was married to a dark-skinned black woman.
And his mama was white. So it's just a flip what you just said. Yeah. I mean, it's still a mix-up in there. It's somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing. Here's the story that they come out with, right? Daily Mail writes this story. Oh, 7 generations ago, Kamala has a slave owner as an ancestor. Guess what? Guess what about black people in the Americas, in the Caribbean? If you shake all our family trees down,
we got it all up in there.
Some one of us has an ancestor that was a slave master. But guess what? Guess what? You're going to get mad at her for having an ancestor who was basically a rapist, but you're not going to get mad at the people who legitimize those ancestors who were racist on the white side. Come on now.
All right, just to jump in quickly, Nicole Waldron, long time no see. She's giving clap emojis, and she says they perpetuate the divide and conquer.
Yeah. And you know what? The thing is, I'm not worried about those black men. I'm not even worried about that divide, because here's the thing, Scott, please. Here's the thing that for me is going to be the rub more than anything. Whether your family tree has slave masters or not, guess what? They still think you're a DEI something. And that DEI something is their code word for the N word. So whether you have ancestors who were enslavers or you don't, guess what they call you? The same N word. Period.
Oh, this makes my blood boil. I got a hot flash going on.
The Kentucky Fire is on fire today.
Hell, what is their joke? What is their joke? What do you call a black man with a PhD? An N-word. That's an old joke from way back.
That's an old joke. But that's what they think of us, and but that's never going to change. So let me say something that I have said before, and I want to make it clear again. You are never going to change the people who are rooted deeply in that mentality. This is why you're never going to change the MAGA people. Now, a lot of Republicans that are not MAGA do speak out against what MAGA is doing. And some of them have really flipped. And I've really been paying attention to them because they give you insight to what they truly believe in and how the MAGA people don't believe in any of that. And I really respect the fact that they have stepped outside of their party and have given their support for country over party. But you're never, 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 never going to change MAGA because they're already too deeply rooted. It's a cult. They're going to go down with the Kool-Aid.
Well, that's what someone said. There was a joke. They said the only difference between Donald Trump and Jim Jones is that Donald Trump would have charged the people for the Kool-Aid.
The Kool-Aid.
And, you know, I mean,
let me just jump in.
I gotta say this though, but here's the thing: anyone who thinks that they, you know, if that's the case, if your family tree has no slave masters, then why is your last name Greaves?
Okay, Nicole puts up here. They want folks to lose focus. We have to protect her and Black women. Yes. Black women have been very mindful of the surroundings, even now more than before. Scott says, my daddy told me, don't worry what a caucus man thinks about because I'm stronger. I don't understand that. Nicole says, that's so true. Their belief system of MAGA is deeply embedded in their DNA.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, I think it's some people got jokes. Anyway, I think that what LaLa said about the MAGA beast of it is just what it is. I think that there are people who do focus on the divide and conquer in our community, and they, like I said earlier, before some comments were made, they are useful idiots for white supremacy, whether they know it or not. And guess what? You can be pro-Black and be a useful idiot for white supremacy. Guess what? Yeah. You're actually the ones that they like the most. The most, because they know that people will trust you, your word, and your insight. And so I think that what we need to really focus on, instead of what this woman is what she's going to do. And the funny thing to me was Newsmax did not know what to do yesterday. When she did that speech with their Chiron, with they're streaming at the bottom, wants to cap rents and utilities. Who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want to be able to have a cap on how much you can be charged for rent or utilities? They said that was a bad thing. What was the other one? Wants to hold fossil fuel corporations accountable. Woo! It was ridiculous. This tells you
they didn't know what to do.
They are imploding. They don't know what to do or what to say. I mean, and look, and JD Vance yesterday tried to make a joke. Oh, they say that you're a racist if you drink a Mountain Dew, and no one laughed. Guess what?
No one laughed.
It's getting Ron DeSantis all over again, right?
Now, check this part out. Elon Musk has decided he's not giving his money to Trump. After Trump came out talking about he loved him so much and he appreciated him so much, he ain't giving him that $45 million.
Did you know why? Because in the last few days, Tesla stock dropped 45%. after Elon Musk said some racist stuff about Kamala,
yes,
Tesla stock dropped 45%. Guess what? You can look, a Pinto has a higher resale value than the Tesla right now. Period.
I don't need no Cybertruck.
Okay, Nicole says, "Are you so idiot for white supremacy?"
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to get somewhat back on the election a bit. So the thing that I find interesting is for the Republicans, it's a different target now, it's a different target now, and as I said to LaLa, I'm just going to call her the fan goddess, not royalty goddess, the fan goddess.
Burning up over here, burning up.
Look, that brings us back to the next debate, right?
Well, this is what I was saying. I would, of all people, Frank Luntz, who is a Republican pollster, I heard him interviewed this week. He said he would like a front row seat if that debate happens between Kamala Harris and 45.
There's no way that Trump is going to debate her. She will run circles and have balloons all around his head. He won't even be able to get out one word before she slaps him down, because she's got those skills like that. And so here's what I love about that. You have an attorney who is going to debate a felon. Mm-hmm. I don't know. No, baby. He ain't going to step up to that podium. No. And another thing, now he's rethinking who he done got running for him. Like, who's his vice president? He's lost.
If you were Trump, do you take on that debate or you do not take on that debate?
You do not take on that debate.
You don't, but guess what? His ego will get in the way.
But the thing is,
because remember, he believes his own hype. He really thinks that she's stupid. He's afraid. He's afraid of the money, and he's nervous and worried. But at the same token, there is that male ego that will come into play where he thinks that he's always right. And it's going to be up to her to have to slap him down. Like some of my sisters are slapping down people right now. She's going to have to do that, period. And guess what? He won't do that again. And you know who's happy? You know who's real happy about this? J.D. Vance. Because J.D. Vance does not have to debate her. Here's the other thing that Trump, and here's another reason why Trump doesn't want to debate her, is because of the check. The check that he donated for her campaign.
You better tell some people, because a lot of people don't know about this. It is in the media, but
Donald Trump in 2011 donated, I think, over $5,000 to Kamala Harris's election campaign for Attorney General of California. And all she could end him with this: if I'm such a horrible person and not qualified, why'd you donate to my campaign? That's the one thing. The second thing is this: when she said, "I know his type," she said, "I've prosecuted sex offenders. I've prosecuted people who committed fraud. I've prosecuted this person and this person, this person. I know his type." That had him peeing his Depends.
Oh, she
doesn't wear underwear.
She pegged him so fast. He doesn't know how to respond to. See, he felt like Joe Biden was on his level, okay, age level, whatever, and he's been attacking him from day one. Sleepy Joe Biden, blah blah blah, crooked Joe Biden, which he still says, but he is not ready for the wit. He is not ready for her young, quick mentality, and he's not ready for her knowing every single thing that she's been doing this for her whole career.
Yeah, and you know what he's not ready for? He's not ready for a black woman who's not
to tell him what to do.
For a black woman who's not bringing him into court and has to keep their language a certain way.
Yeah.
What he's not ready for is for her to clap back and snap back. Okay? He's not ready for that. Period.
Well,
not only is he not ready for that, what really And now they're attacking the whole sorority thing, like dude talking about a colored sorority. We heard you. Clay Kane actually slowed it down. He said colored, not colored. But this whole thing is new to them. They're like, we don't get the support. The HBCUs are in alignment. Look, I've been on the HBCU thread talking about what we're going to do to support. So is your husband, I'm sure.
Yes.
And it's just, he's not ready for what scares him, I think, the most is this immediate infrastructure that all of a sudden coalesced in 3 days.
Yes.
But what he doesn't realize is that, guess what? It was always there. We just needed something to build up excitement.
Yes.
You know what heightened that excitement was the racist and sexist attacks. It's actually unifying people more than it's dividing people, to the point that Mike Johnson, they had a private conversation, a private memo went out and said, cut the racist BS.
Sure did. Because it's backfiring on you.
And guess what?
Backfiring.
And guess what? They just can't help themselves.
But here's the thing, that is their character, and that's also going to come back and haunt them on so many levels, because it's something they can't do. They can't shut their mouths. Nope. They have to say what they want to say to try to make them better, or it's always with them trying to one up, and when they can't one up, they definitely, what did Michelle Obama say? Go low. Right. But in all honesty, there's nothing but backfiring on them. It's the gunshot that ricocheted.
Right.
All right. Nicole,
it's going to keep going.
Nicole says, say what now? That is amazing info on the campaign donation.
Yeah. Not only that, but guess what? It was like within an hour of her being, named, the copy of the check was circulating.
Yes. Yeah. But then, guys, don't forget, because one thing we don't talk about, and we probably should make it a point, Donald Trump, many years ago in the 80s, said that if he was ever, and this is not a fake, if he was ever going to run for president, he would run on the Republican platform.
Yeah, he did.
Because they're the most gullible, and they're the ones who will listen to anything that he would say. And
he was a Democrat.
And he was a Democrat.
And let's not forget one of the things, and see, I know Kamala learned also a lot from the mistakes that Hillary Clinton made. That's why she's been all over the place and up in all these spaces that Hillary Clinton did not go to. Remember, Hillary Clinton also had the opportunity to call Trump out on the fact that he donated to her campaign too.
Yes.
And she did not. She tried to take the high road. Guess what? Black women, we're petty.
Yeah, we're petty.
We do not take that high road all the time.
No. But I don't know. I'm just happy to see. I feel like I'm going to speak for my own self right now, because I think that's important. I know we talk about how we see our party and things of that nature. I right now feel like we finally have, it's not even a chance. I see us winning. Because when we get together this fast, it shows you the power of us. This makes me proud. This makes me happy. This makes me feel like we still have hope. Because for so long, I was like, what are we doing? These are the only two people we got?
Okay, so
I really feel like it.
I want to jump in there.
And one other thing, I feel, you know what? This is the kind of excitement people are saying that they didn't feel since Barack Obama, and I actually feel even more excitement than that time, and we all remember that time. I feel there's something else here with her that we didn't have before. We had there was excitement with Obama, but there's something else here, and I think that this is genuine with Barack Obama. Some of that excitement were people who didn't want to be deemed as racist, because then the next election they went and voted for Mitt Romney.
Yes.
Or after they voted for Obama twice, went and voted for Trump. I think that this here is that, and I'm going to read you this. This just came out. Her popularity with Black people has gone up 44%, 21% with women voters, 25% up with young voters. So this excitement here is different.
I want to jump in now. Nicole says, I love you ladies. A few things. I was listening to a report on NPR this morning, and I respect NPR, and their longtime lead reporter, Steve Inskeep, is actually in Pennsylvania for the next few days. And he spoke to a Democratic non-melanated supporter, and he asked her, how did you feel when you heard the announcement? She said, relieved, because there was so much unknown and tension within the Democratic.
Anxiety.
She said, relieved. And he also then spoke to a longtime Republican supporter, saying, well, the excitement around Ms. Harris, it'll only last so long. It won't last long. Can't see it lasting long.
Please. Baby girl, you can't put that back in the bottle. It's out now.
Yeah. And you got to remember, the people that say that, he's saying that not because he knows or he has some kind of crystal ball, because on the right, they're telling him, just wait it out. This will end. This will go down. This will die down. And they're having to say that because you know what they remember too? They remember this kind of excitement around Obama, and it never went out. And they kept saying, oh, it'll fade. It'll fade. It'll fade. It didn't fade. Even after 4 years and he ran for re-election. And that's the thing that scares them the most. Now Donald Trump is the old guy in the room. Okay? And so whenever we talk about...
And it's backfiring. Did you see the post where people was like, should this old man be running for president? I think he should step down.
And now the more he talks crazy, the crazier he talks,
it could backfire on him. Yeah,
it was one thing, because look, he hid the crazy behind bravado and confidence when he was running against Biden. So, and Biden being unsure with that stutter, it made him look like he was more the crazy one. Now Trump still rambling about sharks and electrocution. Oh my God, I love that meme of Kamala riding the shark, chasing after Donald Trump.
I didn't see that one.
Kamala Harris riding a shark chasing after Donald Trump. But it's that kind of stuff. So he's still talking about Hannibal Lecter, okay? And she's over here talking about we want your freedoms reinstated. So,
and you know, another thing that came out today, which was really interesting, is I watched an interview with Jasmine Crockett. Mm-hmm. And it was somebody else on there as well. And they said that Kamala's camp already have reached out to them about, hey, what about this, the cryptocurrency, and what about this AI that's going on? Her camp is already starting to reach out to the things that people are really concerned about, to learn more about them and to see how we can regulate these things or how it can be incorporated into our world in a better level. That tells you she's already on the ball. These are things that should have been regulated a long time ago. Now, do I expect it to be regulated tomorrow? No, but the fact that she has people reaching out to these camps to learn more, to see about it, to see what could be done possibly, tells me volumes.
You know what else she did today too? She asked some people who signed to teach her how to sign her message.
I love it.
And then she did it and she taped it.
I love it.
So here's the thing. This election is going to come down to a numbers game.
Yeah.
Where we are now is here. The Democratic base it's not just that it expanded. The people who might have sat home are now going to come out. They're energized. They're going to come out. Not only that, but they're seeing that their little $3, $5, $10 is making a difference because it's adding up. It ran up the numbers. Okay. There's that. The Republican Party, they are not interested in expanding their base. So all they can do is try and throw out all these attacks haphazardly and hope that it will discourage Democratic voters and people that support Democrats to stay home. That is their game plan, because remember, they have no path to growing their base. They have no path to getting more voters in the fold. Democrat, if voter registration is up 700% in the last 3 days because of this, it tells you that the majority of those who registered are on this team. And so this voting block, this voting population grew. Theirs has not, and
That's
will
right.
not.
That's right. That's
and
right.
Now Trump has buyer's remorse. Okay, that's
he does.
Too.
He does.
Now, remember when I said before that the Republicans did this transference of negative energy to now where the Democrats were the party of chaos, and that self-sabotage was a Democrat?
Yep.
Well, the transference, it's like Kamala Harris came and held up a mirror, and the transference went right back to them, because they are now back in chaos. They are now back in chaos and free falling. Donald Trump right now, from some reports, he's trying to figure out how to get out of having JD Vance. And you know what's even worse? The fact that Kamala Harris, having South Asian heritage, expands the Democratic base. Yeah. For him, it makes him a risk in his own party. There are a lot of people who do not like the fact that JD Vance has a brown wife. Period.
Oh, they came out. I mean, and I was so shocked. Like at the RNC, they were saying things that were atrocious, and I was like, oh wow.
And she's another Nikki Haley. She's another Nikki Haley, because she came out with some statement like, oh, all y'all gonna vote for Kamala Harris just because of this and this and this. It's like somebody said, aren't you a DEI wife?
Speaking of that, they're already on that. And Representative Burchett out of Tennessee, someone was interviewing him as he was walking, and he was like, well, are you trying to say that Kamala is a DEI vice president? Yes, she's DEI. You know, it's like, do y'all know how stupid you sound? Do you know who America is?
You want me to tell you what DEI? You want to tell me who else is DEI? And I'm going to know this because I tweeted this earlier this morning. I grew up in the great city of New Haven, Connecticut, home of Yale University. On all four sides of Yale is the hood, okay? New Haven is a largely minority city, mostly Black and brown. Now, I know a Yalie. I know their profile. I know who they are. Yale is very big on diversity, equity, inclusion, which is what DEI stands for.
Yes.
And they're so big that they promote it throughout the city. Okay. Yale's they're a very big part of the city. Not only that, they pretty much have a monopoly on healthcare in our state. You know who else is a DEI hire? JD Vance. He's poor, white, grew up in Appalachia. He would be considered a DEI student at Yale. Mother on drugs.
Well, you know what's funny? He keeps saying that I'm really more Kentucky than I am, because, you know, he's afraid that Brashear is going to be named as a pick for Harris's vice president. So, you know, I'm really more Kentucky than I am Ohio. And so now all my friends are tweeting these things. They're absolutely hilarious. Like, JD Vance is the type of person who put this kind of salt on their watermelon. JD Vance, like, it's the funniest stuff, because they try anything they can to fit in. Do you see? They try their best. And they still can't fit.
You know what else is DEI about JD Vance? JD Vance, guess what? You wear eyeliner.
Okay, Lana's go. Okay,
Cinema
Canella says, "Wow, Wednesday show," and she goes, "Perfect listing for the commute." Nicole says that DEI hire comment ticked me off.
Yeah,
But never forget this, and at every chance, remind him, because your friend from New Haven told you, compared to other Yaleys, he was a DEI student.
Wow.
Because guess what? I promise you, he had to work 3 times harder than some of the other ones. He had to work 3 times harder than some white people of means to get into Yale. Because guess what? They wouldn't have taken him if he wasn't from Appalachia. Let's be very clear.
Eyeliner. Nicole says Raffle eyeliner.
So rolling on the floor eyeliner.
So who would you want your candidate to pick as VP running mate?
I'm not ready to call mine yet because I don't feel like I'm not out of the people who've been thrown around. I'm not sure any of them to me would be a very good pick. I know a lot of people are pushing for Newsom, and I don't think that would be wise.
No, but he's not in the running. She already asked for materials from 5 people. One was Mark Kelly, one was Bashir, one was Shapiro, Gretchen Whitmer, and I forgot who the 5th one was. But I honestly, I think it's gonna be, if I had to pick, if I'm looking at this as a strategy, I think she either goes with Mark Kelly.
Why?
Mark Kelly, and the reason I say Mark Kelly is because remember, gun control, legislation is also on her platform, and Mark Kelly is married to Gabby Giffords, who was the victim of a mass shooting when she was
Yes, that makes sense. Yes,
that's one thing. The other, I think, either after that, I think it's either Gretchen or Shapiro, and for 2 reasons. They both have a status that will help her with certain populations. So Gretchen Whitmer, a woman candidate, I think would just be the ultimate FU to Donald Trump and JD Vance. But also she's Michigan and needs to win Michigan. Or Shapiro, because Shapiro is Jewish. He'd be the first Jewish vice president. And he is the governor of Pennsylvania, which is also another state that she would help her advance. So those are the 3 people I think that make the cut. Now, however, I do think that Bashir has a fighting chance here because the South was the first to throw all of their delegates behind her.
Oh, I love him. Don't get me wrong. I love him. I love Bashir. I love what he's doing in Kentucky. He is a kick-ass governor. I love him.
Yeah,
but I'm just not sure about him yet on that level because I'm not sure how many people would support that. Yeah. I'm also a little concerned about a woman ticket. I would absolutely love that, but like I said, I'm some of that has a reservation for me. I would love it, but I'm not sure if people are ready for that.
Well, here's the thing. I said this on social media. I'm gonna say this. I've said this here before, but I'm gonna say it again. White men haven't been the base of the Democratic Party since 1963. So of the people that were nominated, white women are now energized. I think that there is going to be not so much a pressure campaign, but a campaign behind Gretchen Whitmer that will come with money and votes. So I think that might tamper down the fact that no one will. But guess what? America's not ready for a woman ticket. But we already see what they're doing to Kamala Harris. See what they're going to do with a woman ticket. That is a lose-lose situation for Donald Trump and JD Vance, especially in debates, because it's going to look like they're beating up on women.
Yeah.
And the worst part is, Hillary Clinton, and here's the thing with, people are like, why not Hillary? Hillary had 30 years of baggage that Gretchen does not have. And they were
not going back there, please, Jesus.
Thought that Hillary Clinton was defensible. But they see Gretchen Whitmer, she was already attacked. They try to hit on her.
Yeah.
And then JD to come after her. Oh, it's game over, honey. Game over. But I'm telling you this. This is the other part too about this idea that it's that we know who it's going to be. Guess what? Her number 2 is going to have to be, 1, her choice, but 2, it's going to have to be someone that she has chemistry with. Why? Yeah. Because the one thing, like we started this conversation with, and I said, it's the driest ticket since Gore Lieberman. JD Vance and Donald Trump have absolutely no chemistry.
No connection.
None. It's worse than Mike Pence. At least Mike Pence was willing to, and Donald Trump took a sip of water. Mike Pence be there taking his sip of water. No, JD Vance, and it's.
I was shocked. I was like, who is that?
Well, here's the other part of it too. Remember, and this is something that has come out. If you stay away from mainstream media and you read some of these other things, because people in the Trump campaign actually are talking to people. JD Vance was pushed on him by Heritage Foundation, Don Jr., and Stephen Miller. Donald Trump wanted the guy that I said he was going to choose, that governor of North Dakota or whatever Dakota it is, the guy Berger or whatever his name is. That's the one I told you he was going to choose, the governor that would not outshine him.
Gosh, I can't remember who it was.
I want to interrupt because I don't want to go for too much longer but I want to bring up an article and I would love to get your feedback on it. This is from CNN. It was written a few days ago. The article is titled "The Promise and Risks for Democrats in Kamala Harris's Candidacy." They say she inverts the age argument. She's a former prosecutor. 45 is a convicted felon. Biden was Scranton Joe. Harris will be tagged California liberal. She gives Democrats a much needed jolt of momentum.
Yeah.
Her gender could galvanize Democrats and also Republicans. She can be transcendent, but also tentative. Any feedback on anything that was
But seeing that her gender will galvanize Republicans, guess what? They were going to show up already. If they weren't going to show up to vote for Donald Trump, Kamala Harris being on the ticket is not going to make them decide, I'm going to go and vote. If they were lackluster about Trump then, they're still lackluster about him now. Because guess what? Their candidate hasn't changed. If they hadn't decided, I'm going to tell you this. Even though they might say it, there are no undecided voters in this country. Period. No. They say undecided. So. They say undecided because the decision is this, whether or not they're going to go to the polls or stay home. That's what they're undecided about. But the other part too is when people say, well, I'm undecided, it's because they don't want to tell who they're voting for because there's an element of shame.
You're reading my alleged mind. It's interesting you said that because in that report this morning done by Steve Inskeep, also they had their lead political reporter, Domenico Montanaro, and recent polls done by NPR and Marist is saying a lot with Ms. Harris coming into the campaign. Undecided voters are not only thinking about voting, but they're trending to vote for Ms. Harris more than 45. So I think there could be a little bit of concern on the Republican end saying, these undecided that we thought we were going to have, we may not be able to count on them anymore.
Well, I think the undecided voters that were out there that are truly undecided, it wasn't whether or not they were going to vote for Trump. I think it was Joe Biden's not giving me a reason to vote for him.
Yeah, and I'm with that. I'm with that, y'all. That is exactly how I was feeling. I was going to vote. I don't play around with that because not voting is still giving a vote some type of way. But that's how I was feeling. And although I do respect the man, and I think it's very honorable. I don't like the way they did it, but I do think it was very honorable for him to step down. And you can't get around that. No two ways about it. That was honorable for him to do for the party and to allow us to not have this orange one back in the office. But I was feeling that way. I was very upset because y'all heard me say, why do we only have these two people? We got all this whole country of bright young people, and we got these two.
Yeah.
And I think I don't want to feel like I have to vote that way. That doesn't make me feel good.
Yeah, I think now what it is that not only has she energized people, but people can now get past their concerns to hear what the message is, what the platform is, what she wants to do, what she's saying. And her platform, and this is the good thing. And there's a stark contrast here because you couldn't look at Joe Biden and see the future when he's been in this long, right?
Right.
But now Kamala Harris can talk about it's about where we're going.
Yes.
And her saying we're not going back is the antithesis of what the Republican platform is make America great again. Well, when was it great? Which means you're talking about going backward in time. And she's like, no, we're not going back to that. We're going forward. We're going forward. And so I think that is going to be that's going to be the case that she makes, above and beyond the fact that Trump is incompetent, a convicted felon, and a liably held rapist, is the fact that he wants to take us back to something that we're not ready to go back to.
So Cinnamon Canella says too early to count the undecided votes, and she's driving home now, but she's checking us out.
But you know, Cinnamon, I have to say this. I've done this long enough and have covered politics long enough to say that while it's early to count the undecided votes, honestly, when the votes come down, there are very few people that when they do the polling, the talking, conversations after the polls, most people already knew what who they were going to vote for. What they end up saying is that they didn't know whether they were actually going to show up or if they were enthusiastic. And I think sometimes people confuse which candidate they're going to vote for in being undecided about their enthusiasm. I think that's what it is. It's like, yeah, I'm going to do it, but I'm not sure how I feel about the candidate. And how you feel about the candidate is different than whether or not you show up and do your civic duty.
Last conversation piece before we shut it down. If you had a few moments to spend with Miss Harris, what would you tell her?
I don't think I need to tell her anything.
Not to be fearful of anything.
There's one thing I would tell her. It's what I've been telling people. I said this to LaLa last week when we did our 10 and 10, and I'm saying this to Black women, and I have been saying this to Black women since she announced, protect your peace.
I guess that would be my ditto, because that was the next post I actually did on my page. I was like, we are going to be attacked on so many more levels and so much harder that we need to protect our peace.
They're going to come for the rest of us.
Who is the we you're talking about?
Us Black women.
Yeah. Because when they can't get to her, they're going to go to the ones that they can get to.
Yeah.
And attack the ones that they can get to. It's already started with me. I'm sure it started with LaLa already. My daughter caught some crap today. So protect your peace. And I think that's it. And like Nicole says here, we got you.
I love it. She said, guard your heart. That is excellent advice. Guard your heart. Yes.
Don't lose focus and guard your heart. Yeah.
Okay. And she also
and most
said,
importantly, we got you.
Getting folks protected at the polls and ensuring they can register is also going to be key.
Oh, and this is the other message that's also going around. And that's why I'm so glad these different groups are having their meetings. Make sure you can go to iwillvote.com and check your voter registration status. Check it on a weekly basis. Okay.
Yeah, because they're pulling some games.
They're pulling games, and be mindful of the last day to register in your state. Do that. Be very careful, because protect your right to vote like it is your credit score.
And here's how serious I am. Y'all know I'm registered to vote in Florida. Do I have, I'm going to be on top of making sure my vote is being counted.
So Nicole also says, ladies, stay safe over there. Also, one other talking point. Do you wish that Mr. Biden would have pulled out earlier so he could give more time for the Harris campaign?
No.
I do. But then I see this is more of an advantage to me. Now after the RNC, I get it. Sometimes it takes me a little while to click. But one of the things that I did first say, I wish this would have happened last year. But honestly, I don't think we would be where we are now in an excellent light and an excellent position if we did it last year.
Yeah, I think it was right on time, because I think if it had happened, like I said earlier, if it had happened before the RNC, it would have given the Republicans time to pivot. And remember, the one thing that they're good at doing, the Democrats have never been good at doing until now, is falling in line. It would have given Trump time to pivot. Like I said, he would have chosen differently for his running mate. We would not have that support of Haley voters for Harris. And there are a lot of other groups that would have, I think the attacks, the prolonged attacks would have changed how some people think. The fact that there's this tight window, like literally they have until week after next for her to be, to say that she's going to be the nominee, to have a running mate, because August 7th is the deadline that they have to do this. And then, because remember, some of the ballots start to get printed out. That's why they've got this firm deadline. So they've got a week and a half. And I think that not giving the Republican Party that big of a leeway to change strategy, right, has been to her advantage.
Okay. Nicole says, please keep speaking on protecting your rights to vote. And also says that Biden's timing has worked for the better. Well, it's gonna be something. Till November, it's gonna be something. What, on a scale of 0 to 10, what chances do you give Miss Harris at this point in time?
10.
I
think
wow.
I think that she can win.
Me too.
Wow.
So much so that I've already started making merch, honey. I've already started making merch and it's already selling.
Why are you so confident? Well, I mean, what is making you so confident?
The organization on the ground has been swift. Okay. Not only that, but they have had donations from more than individual donations from more than 1 million people. My daughter and I actually, after this, are going to sit down and decide how we're going to do our donation and how often, so we can continuously donate. I hadn't given any money to the campaign this election cycle.
And I've already donated.
This one I didn't, and now I'm just like, ooh, I'm so excited. And put it this way, the Act Blue that collects all of her campaign donations shut down. They were getting so many at a time, and so I think that this momentum, and that the fact that individual groups are coming together to not only strategize how they're going to get the message out, the primary fact that they're all organizing on, and I've peeped into some of the different conversations just to get an idea. Fundraising. Not only that, they've been respectful enough. The white women have, the South Asian people have, the Latinos, they all have come in and said, guess who sent us? Black women sent us.
Yeah.
Okay, I want some more comment. Nicole says, hold up, what's the merch? Please share. You see, the ladies love y'all. So you got to start working on the merch. You put it out there, LaLa.
Wait, we should put some on our Patreon, on our thing, because
I'll send Aisha the link and it'll be on our Patreon.
Let's get together and talk about this.
Okay. Minion Cat says they started making AI generate images of Ms. Harris just like.
Well, look, I'm sure it's closer to her body type than the ones about Trump. Him talking about how if I take my shirt off, there's this beautiful what?
All right.
I imagine he looks like a Ken doll, where there's lumps where all the body parts are supposed to go.
Okay, look at this. Cinema Canella says I'll give her an 8 chance of winning the presidency race. Regina says I think Harris will win big. So many traditional Republicans are sick of 45, and Vance is also a piece of you-know-what.
Yeah.
Regina says, so she will get the swing states. Nicole says, oh, wait, what is the thing on the Republicans speaking on the transfer of money from Joe? Yes, we got to talk about that. Yes, we got to bring that
quickly up. So what they're saying is that, Trump filed a stay to stop Joe Biden from transferring the money from him to Kamala Harris, and saying that, you can't do that because of campaign finance laws. But here's the thing. Here's the caveat. And there are several options here. And I love the fact that he's complaining, because this gets to put Republicans right in their place. Look, y'all shouldn't have messed with the campaign finance laws, because it's going to come back to bite you. First of all, when they're saying that, they didn't fill out the paperwork correctly, But guess what? They actually did. When they filed their paperwork, Trump only put his name on his stuff for his PAC.
That's right.
The Joe Biden campaign put both Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. So she can have access to that money, one. But two, one of the people who's already out there to decide this has already indicated that it's a frivolous case, and that looking at what they've seen, he does not have a point. But guess what the Republicans did with that legislation? They allowed for super PACs. So even if Joe Biden cannot transfer that money to her, because you say that he can't make a personal donation, that the thing is like, well, his personal donations can only be limited to X amount of dollars. Well, guess what? If he forms a super PAC where you don't have to disclose and there are no limits that an individual can donate, he can turn over that money. But guess what? Does she really need it? It's $91.5 million they're worried about her getting. But guess what? Kamala in 3 days raised $126 million.
Sure did.
Another 3 days like that, she doesn't need that piddly $91.5 million. And then guess what Joe Biden can do with it? He can use it to help the down ballot races.
Yes, which we need.
Either way, he's screwed when it comes to money. And this is why he's trying to fight that money going anywhere. Because either Joe Biden gives it to Kamala or he uses it to fight the down ballot races. Either way, it's going to go to somebody's campaign, and he cannot live with that, because guess what? He's not getting the donations that he got. Kamala Harris raised, 2 or 3 times more than he raised in June.
Yeah.
Okay, in 3 days. So he can't raise that kind of money. But also remember too, the kind of money that even if he could, 80% of it's going to fighting his legal bills. And he keeps racking up legal bills by these filings that he's doing right now, trying to stop her from this. So guess what? That's why he needed Elon Musk so bad to give that $45 million per month, because he's cash poor. His campaign is cash poor when the majority of the money, and that's the problem the RNC said, and that's why you shouldn't have let your DEI daughter-in-law run the RNC, because she said all of our focus is going to be at funding his criminal cases. So guess what? Y'all have no money to fundraise. Good luck with that.
All right. The comments are finishing up now. She says, Nicole saying, send the merchandise to Canada so she can wear it. So you already got a supporter here. Mignon Camp says, 45's comments about disabled people has me wishing he loses. He will ruin it for people with a disability. Simon Canal says, great show, guys. Kind of like Wednesday show, better than Saturday. Well, you're going to get both this week. You have no choice. All right. Regina says, all the money in the super PAC goes to the DNC, and the bulk of the DNC money goes to the nominee. Regina says, I thought Musk was giving $45 million a month. Guess he changed his mind.
Yeah, he did.
And then Jen says, love the show. That's it, because we got another one coming on Saturday.
Yeah.
So.
And we're ready for the haters.
We're ready.
What's Beyonce said? I'm twirling on the haters.
Yep.
All right. So before we call it, as usual, we have to say thank you to the ladies for giving the most valuable thing they have, their time. LaLa, how can people get a hold of you?
Well, I made it easy. You can find me all of my platforms under this one site. It's bit.ly/Laura Key Info. And you can get all of my tickety talks, and as the Congress says, because I'm still on tickety talks. Not so much Twitter, but I have been doing a lot more on Twitter, but you can find me everywhere there. Protect your peace.
Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary. Happy 31 anniversary.
Thank you.
Aisha K, where can we get a hold of you?
I'm slaying on Twitter.
Okay, that's enough said. I'm slaying on Twitter. Done. All right, good stuff, everybody. And where can you get a hold of me? Website, thedrvibeshow.com. YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, The Dr. Vibe Show. Instagram, at The drvibeshow, X/Twitter at drvibeshow, and email dr.vibe@drvibeshow.com. Let's get the few last comments before we shut it down. What do we got here? Look at this. Nicole says, I'm joining your marketing team. And she's not joking either. She's serious. You know, she's serious. All right. So, as always, Primetime Saturday, show with Aisha and LaLa at Patreon address. It's also on most of the platforms you're watching this live on the replay. Here's the link for products. So now the clock is ticking, LaLa, for your merchandise. Nicole, and if you want, I could get Nicole's contact information. She'll help you market it because she's got quite the deep base of African Canadian women up here. Very serious. Absolutely. Absolutely. Join the Primetime Discord group. Email me, dr.vibe@drvibeshow.com. Subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. We just passed 1,500 subscribers. Our next goal is 1,600. If you're up to it, great. Share it out. Also, follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, The Dr. Vibe Show. And if you want to advertise your business, product, or service on the show, please email me, dr.vibe@drvibeshow.com. Let's see. All right, we are finished. So we're going to finish with this. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller, get stronger. Block assumptions and aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, respect. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy, and remember to give yourself grace. And in lieu of one of my mentors passing away over the last week, I call him Dr. Marsh, known as Louis Marsh, who was the head of the Zero Gun Violence movement. I'm going to also add this at the end. Keep fighting. See you on Saturday. Check out wherever you are on the replays. And we got some other stuff coming up. So God bless. Peace to you all. Keep the faith, walk good, and protect your peace.